started talking about rights and freedoms.
We are covering a fair ground in terms of the freedoms, rights, and privileges / the undercover word for not to give you the rights. For me, one of the things which are critical or important is freedom of speech.
Yep.
And I feel people, whatever their views are, people should be able to talk to each other and then talk across board. And I think that creates a functioning civil society when you have that core freedom or right to speak at forums, as individuals, in your own association or group settings. How do you see that trend being curtailed in many ways and form? And how does freedom of speech is taken away probably when you are a public servant?
As a public servant. Well, I'll get into that. I'll try and remember to come back to that. But it was remiss of me to miss speech when we started talking about rights and freedoms. I think it's probably the fundamental one, because without it, you can't think. And I think the best example of that is I don't know if she's a young lady anymore. She seems young. Her name is Yeonmi Park. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeonmi Park. She's a North Korean defector. So she escaped North Korea with her mother. If anybody wants to look at that, she's done many podcasts, but the one I listened to was with Joe Rogan, and that was a tearjerker. That was tough to listen to what she went through in Korea and then getting out of Korea. And that when she spoke about free speech in America or in any Western country, and the effect that the lack of free speech had on the way that she thought when she was in Korea, in North Korea, that really made me think about speech, because think about it, we're talking about a concept. Actually talking helps you think and conceptualize more, solidify or break down and change your views, because you're talking. If you control the way people speak, whether it's removing their right or surreptitiously changing the language by using certain methodologies, whether it's in social media, whether it's through government changes to government policies, you make certain forms of speech more acceptable or less acceptable than others. You actually affect the way people think. And I think that one example that they have in North Korea is there's no real word for I or me. It's us or we. And it's very collective. So the ability to think about yourself is removed to a certain extent. And that really made me think that particular podcast. So I think it's important. The speech is important because, as you said, it helps us relate to each other. And as a public servant, then, if we move on from there, as a public servant, absolutely, you're employed by the government to carry out a role. And when you say public servant, you're talking about someone in the executive. So, for example, the context was me as a police. That's the way I understood it. There's certain things I just couldn't say, even though I wanted to.